Welcome to part 2 of my guitar tutorial for the commission by Cain. If you have not, you will of course want to check out the first video. We'll get right into it here. So after that first chorus, we're right back into the verse, and in a sense it's a little bit simpler this time around because it's consistent. So we start out just like before. Now this is just as before, but it's also that way the second time through, so it doesn't do the this time. So we go through the verse and we have the now here's the next difference. This time we don't do that fancy little thing with the raising of the pinky and our index finger in there. It's just so I have my thumb, middle finger on the third string, so I'm going thumb and middle together, thumb and index on the fourth string, thumb and middle, thumb and index, and then it starts over again. Now we have this little chord progression. This is different than the first time through also. So this is one of these places where it's really hard to hear exactly what the guitar is playing, but the chords, and all I do is just pluck the chords here. Start with this simple C, like a C power chord, open fourth string, second fret third. Then we're going into a D minor, so this is open sixth string. I just bumped my index finger up here to the second fret of the fourth string, and I'm going to pick those two along with the third string. Then we go to like a C over an E, and so here I'm going second fret sixth string, open fourth string, second fret third string, and then up to that G minor 7, fifth fret, sixth, fourth, third strings. Now we start to go through this chorus. It's again a bit simpler than the first because it doesn't do that. It's just so a little more consistent this time around. Then at the end of this chorus, we go to the C. Once again, I can't really hear what the guitar is doing, so you could just let it ring. Or now that takes us right into the bridge, which is a pretty cool, really interesting guitar part. So here we're starting with this funky shape. So in this tuning that I'm in, I'm going to go first fret on the fifth string, and then the fourth, third, and first strings will all be open. We will be using those, and then I've got my ring finger on the third fret of the second string. So the first measure of this so we're going thumb of our picking hand starting on the fifth string, and then index middle. Now here I'm in more kind of what I think of as a default fingerstyle position with my first three fingers kind of assigned to the top three strings. Index on the third, middle on the second, ring on the first. So I'm going, so that's thumb on the fifth string, index, middle, index, thumb, but now on the fourth string, then first string, thumb back to the fifth string, index middle, index thumb, but thumb now on the fourth string. So that measures slowly one more time. The next measure, we're just going to get rid of our index finger of our fretting hand. And it's almost the same pattern for the plucking hand, but not quite. So we start out the same way. So that's all exactly the same. The only difference is really, I think in the end, we're going to add the note with our index finger on the third string. So that slowly. Now we're going to keep this third fret on our second string fretted, but not with this finger. So here I'm going to switch to my index finger there, and then I'm going to bring my pinky in on the 6th fret of the 6th string here. So now my thumb on my picking hand is on the 6th string. And same kind of pattern, but this one, so here, 6th string with the thumb, index middle, index thumb, but now thumb on the 4th string, ring, and then thumb on the 6th, then thumb on the 4th, index middle. And then this last chord, I think it's just the top 4 strings. We keep hold of that 3rd fret of the 2nd string. You could just keep the index there, or you could switch back to the ring finger because this whole progression is about to repeat again. So here I'm going thumb now on the 4th string. So that was thumb, index middle, index thumb ring, then thumb, index middle, index, and it's once again pretty hard to hear, but that kind of works. And then we start that over again. It all repeats up until the very end. Now, so what I do here, I start with kind of the same pattern as before, and then I'll hit that open 4th string. Now, what I do next here is, I think, kind of a combination of the 2 guitars, really. So I'm going to go. So I'm hitting the 1st string, and then down here, I'm just using my 1st finger, sliding from the 2nd to the 4th frets. Then I'll go thumb on the open 4th string, open 1st, and then 3rd string sliding now from 4 to 5. Next, the synth kind of takes over, but of course it's the same chords as before, so you could just follow that same progression for the chorus. And then it just continues as before. So that's that C over E, and then it just starts back over once again, goes all the way through, and the only difference this time is when we get up here for the B flat, where normally you'd probably want to go index and ring fingers here. For this time through, if you want to do this little embellishment that happens, there's a little hammer-on, I think, that goes on. You might want to go middle finger on the 6th string on the 8th fret, ring on the 9th of the 3rd, and then your 1st finger will be kind of ready to go on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. And this time it's, so it's, I'm going thumb and middle fingers, thumb and index, of course index on the 4th string here, and then middle finger on the 3rd string, and this is where the hammer-on happens. Back to our G minor 7. And then the whole thing ends on a C sus. This works well. In the shape is kind of like a normal, what a D sus would be, a D sus 2 in standard tuning. So open 4th string, 2nd fret of the 3rd, 3rd fret of the 2nd, and open 1st string. Please feel free to check out the rest of my channel, and if you're interested in one-on-one lessons, contact me at davekosla@outlook.com.